We'll begin our day, maroon and white, Aggie baseball to be specific. College Station Regional begins tomorrow. Aggie baseball, 2:45, the pregame. 3:05, 3-something will be the first pitch. You can hear Aggie baseball every game of their play, every game, every hit pitch, all the action right here on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. You can listen at radioagaland.com. You can listen on the Zone app, and you can tell Alexa, play Zone 1150. Mitch Light, The Athletic. He's an editor for them. He's with me every Monday, 12 noon. Does the college baseball roundup and more. He released, and he told us he was yesterday, a preview, news and notes, predictions for every single regional. He picked the Aggies to win the College Station Regional. And there's cool notes. Did you know that Texas A&M is the only one of the 16 hosts? The only one that did not make the NCAA tournament a year ago? And it's little things like that, little notes like that, that for me kind of highlight how far they came this year. A&M is the only one of the 16 hosts that didn't make the NCAA tournament last season. This is a really great bounce back year. This has shown how much head coach Michael Early has learned and grown in just 1 year, one offseason. There's more to come. I feel like if his learning curve is 80% of this one from year 2 heading into next year, there could be great things ahead because there's more to learn. There's more improvement ahead, but it's incredible if we pause for a second. But right now, we're in the throes of fading down the stretch, which the injuries down the stretch are the storyline. But I'm like you. Fans hate injuries. Talking about them, thinking about them, we call them excuses. They're valid. They're legit. Not all injury stories are the same. But this Aggie baseball team has been beaten up on the mound. Aiden Sims. And the offense, too, has taken a beating down the stretch. But we'll say faded. They're losing. You know, you hear all kinds of negative concepts. The injuries have taken their toll in the fade down the stretch. Only one of the 16 hosts that didn't even make the tournament a year ago. Other notes for the regional, USC and their top 2 pitchers have been the focus. And Mason Edwards, he's one of only 5 pitchers with 100-plus strikeouts and a sub-1 whip. His strikeouts per 9 innings, and I pointed out when we were doing it live time Monday when they announced it, just looking straight off the stat sheets is insane. 16.30 strikeouts per 9 innings. I'm going to be fascinated if A, they throw him in game 1. I don't know if USC can take Texas State for granted. I mean, I think they're going to have to throw their ace in game 1. I want to know if their stats will translate from the Big Ten to, I don't know, the real world. But they got 2. And Grant Gobble's the other one. And Mitch told us Monday leads baseball with 42 1-2-3 innings. Leads all of baseball with 42 1-2-3 innings. But yeah, Mitch, just a heads up, picked A&M to win the College Station Regional. He didn't go chalky chalk. I'm going to give Mitch credit. Out in the Tuscaloosa Regional, he took Oklahoma State. Southern Miss is the number 9 national seed. He took Jacksonville State, and that's a 3 seed. Down in Tallahassee, Florida State, the 10 seed, he took Coastal Carolina. Kansas, one of the feel-good stories. Rock Chalkin' Jayhawkin', right? Arkansas, the 2 seed to advance. And finally, is 8 for Omaha. The overall big predictions, Wake Forest, Florida, North Carolina. So he has North Carolina, the 5, advancing from their regional. A&M advancing, which means they'd face in the Super, and he's got North Carolina winning. Auburn, G-Tech, Oklahoma State, not only advancing as the 2 seed out of their regional, but then winning the Super. Texas and Georgia. So, Mitch Light, Look, I gave you a quick highlight. Go to The Athletic. It's a free article, and you can read its notes, little things did you know, and predictions for every single regional. You can go to Mitch Light's Twitter X, and he'll have a link to it. Good stuff. So if you're looking for more than just Aggie baseball, you could check out the entire College Station regional, but every regional if you're a college baseball fan. Aggie baseball, College Station regional. Head coach Michael Early was on Texags Live 9 o'clock earlier this morning. He's on Texags Live a couple of times each week. He was hanging out with Richard Zane. And a couple of nuggets for you. Aiden Sims will not pitch versus Lamar in Game 1 of the College Station Regional. I would not have expected him to pitch in Game 1, even if he was going to pitch this weekend, even if he was 100% healthy. I didn't expect him to pitch in Game 1, period. Michael Early, again, either now or 10 minutes from now, we'll meet with the full media. Early did not name a starting pitcher for Game 1. I expect the entire weekend will be TBD, almost based upon when will Aiden Sims pitch. Look at each team. Is there a matchup you can do? The starters, is Sims available? Potentially him. The starters are Darden for 2 innings. Moss, but he has been awful over the last month. Lyons has been unreliable. They don't have starting pitchers. And you might think I'm being a smart aleck about it, but tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm wrong. There's almost not a point to name a starting pitcher because that's just the guy that will begin the game and no more. They have no starters in the traditional sense. The only one is Aiden Sims, and that's if he's actually going to pitch this weekend or not. But yeah, the other note from Coach Early being on Texags earlier, he said that Nico Pertida will be in A&M's lineup and play third base on Friday. So he is good to go, and that is good news to go for all. Pertida is healthy and good to go. So updating you on the media, USC started things 7 minutes ago. Aggies at 11:25. And again, a heads up, we will listen in to A&M at 1:35 today, and we'll listen to USC tomorrow, since that's the matchup of the weekend. We will listen in to both to get you fired up and ready for the College Station Regional. Any other news and notes? I mean, if you're fired up and you want all you can get on this, Tony Catalina did his preview, and that's up now. And any other notes from it? Anything else you need to know? The way I approach things is I take in every single nugget and bit of info I can get and kind of then absorb it, use the things I believe in, and then spit out into the universe what I believe in. One thing that's a theme, other than A&M, every team in the College Station Regional, their strength is their pitching. Even Texas State, who mashes and bashes and supposed to be like, oh man, can you believe that? They're a 16-14 team from the Sun Belt. And offensively, relatively speaking, they were middle of the pack. They hit the long ball, but they were middle of the pack offensively. They finished the year 9th. They batted .277, but they had 110 homers. That's more than anyone else. So that's all they did. Now, with Aggie pitching and their propensity to give up 2-strike home runs, yeah, that could be rough. But it was a mid-Texas State team, to be clear. Texas State, horrible ERA, high strikeout rate. USC, good ERA, high strikeout rate. Everything is high strikeout rate. Aggie offense, high strikeout propensity. And yes, facing off against Sun Belt teams, striking out Sun Belt teams, striking out Sun Belt pitchers is a lot different than SEC. But if you just want to go with the base concept, a lot of high strikeout pitchers in this regional. A&M's offense has known to have insanely high strikeout rate games. Personally, look, If you want me to fret, sweat, hand-wringing over Sun Belt and Big Ten matchups, then there's no regional A&M would have got that you wouldn't be fretting. I think it's set up for A&M to mash and bash their way. Sure, A&M got totally hosed as the 12. They're not a 12. I believe it was Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, put forth a very simple concept. A&M got hosed into the 12 seed because they probably should have been the 11. But for the first time in the history of mankind, any sport, the committee did not want to do A&M Texas because the committee had gotten ripped and torn, as we all have, and ridiculed for always doing A&M Texas in the supers. And when they kind of got past 9 and 10 and realized, oh no, we can't do 11, they were forced into a 12, which is the stupidest thing I ever heard. That doesn't mean Kendall is, but that the committee did that to themselves. So you had a team that arguably could have been 8. You decided they're not 9. And when you realized they should have been 11, and you actually said, we can't do that because we don't want that matchup, even though we've done that matchup for 10 straight years, we just don't want to be made fun of. That's not an analytic or metric, which is making fun of people making fun of us is not an analytic metric. So we'll really hose them and put them at 12. And because they're now in the bottom 4, which always get the blank end of the stick when it comes to the teams we're going to put there, it's one of the dumbest things. And I absolutely go, oh, that makes sense. Now I get it. Now I get it. We'll be right back. We're just beginning. It is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. It is the Louis Bellina Show, Thursday on the Zone.
Your home for Aggie Baseball is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
I've mentioned that the College Station Regional Media Day has begun. USC is first. Aggies are in about 4 or 5 minutes. USC head coach Andy Stankiewicz has confirmed that they're going to throw their number 2 pitcher, who's an ace, in their game 1, and their number 1 is going to be safe for Saturday, and we'll go ahead and say for Texas A&M. Just minutes ago, I was pondering that, and like I said, I don't know if they have the luxury of doing that. They're doing it. They're doing it. They're going to throw Grant Govil, the righty, in game 1 against Texas State. And again, their number 2 is 10-2 with a 2.84 ERA. Mason Edwards is there. He was the Big Ten pitcher of the year. He had 160 strikeouts in 88 innings. He's the one that had that 16.6 strikeouts to innings pitched. He is insane. And they're going to go ahead and kind of flip-flop the 1-2. The Texas State will face off against their 2. And the winner of the A&M Lamar game is going to get their ace, Mason Edwards. So just saw that, just checking things during the timeout there. So USC going for the throat. They figure that they can figure out, the double dip if they can win the Saturday game. They're throwing the Big Ten pitcher of the year, Mason Edwards, against the winner of A&M and Lamar. One last thing I wanted to share with you. Again, there's so many ways to look at things, but in football, when we look at a game, we love to look at the talent in the game, which team has the most amount of talent, et cetera, et cetera. ESPN.com. They looked at the top 10 most talented teams in baseball, college. A&M, and how do you do that? Well, draft. Who's going to have the most players drafted? And they only went in the top 5 or 6 rounds because after you get to the 99th round in MLB, no one has a clue. Did you know that the Aggies are according to ESPN, looking at the MLB draft, the eighth most talented team? The top 2 round prospects is Chris Hakopian's the number 1. They have Nico Partita, but he's 2028. But still, this is just top 2 round prospects. Nico Partita, I've already seen listed as the number 1 prospect for the 27 draft. Or 28 draft, sorry. Caden Sorrell, Gavin Grahovac. So the Aggies have 4 players listed as top 2 rounds. And then rounds 3 to 5, Aiden Sims, Bear Harrison, Shane Sadeo, Clayton Freshcorn, and Jorian Wilson. So that gives A&M 9 players projected in the first 5 rounds of the MLB draft. It's various years, but that's the roster. And that's the 8th, ranked MLB prospect, MLB players rosters in all of MLB. UCLA is number 1. They have 10, and they have 3 on that top 2 round list, including the number 1 overall, the shortstop, Rosh Cholowski. They got 2 that are going to be first rounders this year alone, but UCLA has the number 1 roster of them all. Florida Gators have the 3rd most. A couple others you might be interested. Mississippi State, 4, and the Aggies took 2 out of 3 from them. But Florida State, the 4th. The Longhorns have the 6th most MLB talented roster. They got 11 players, 11 projected for the MLB draft, 4 in the top 2 rounds and 7 in rounds 3 through 5. So 11 total. LSU, they just got done with one of the weirdest, just awfulest years considering versus expectation. They're 9th, right behind the Aggies, and they're nowhere to be seen. So, just a little insight, talent, acquisition, overall roster. A&M with the 8th most MLB talented roster in this, just overall in college baseball. I want to stay on the diamond. I do want to go to softball for a moment. The College World Series has started, 11 o'clock, 25 minutes old, and I'm a softball junkie. And this week, if you've been paying attention, Maya Perez, she was a first-team All-American, NFCA, second-team All-American. That was softball, D1 softball. She's going to be a consensus All-American, easy call. If you take a look at the College World Series, 5 teams from the SEC. So 5 of the 8 are from the SEC. There's Tennessee, Bama, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Texas. 3 of them going to be in action today. Right now you got Mississippi State and Texas Tech, and Tech's up 2-0, top of 2. Tech had a 2-run shot in the bottom of 1. And Tennessee and Texas are up next. And a thought that's bothered me, and it's not just this week, but you look at this College World Series. I've never understood. No, I do. And that's part of what bothers me. Why, if Mississippi State, how do they get to the College World Series like A&M doesn't? I don't understand why programs like Arkansas and Tennessee are in front of A&M in softball. And Arkansas is a Johnny-come-lately. Tennessee is a traditional softball power. I don't understand how Texas, just decided they wanted to be good in softball, and bam, they're going to their 3rd straight College World Series. Other programs that wanted to just figured out and made it happen. And watching so long, I know too many small details, and it's just very frustrating over the years. It is. Something as simple as waiting about 5 to 8 years too long to get a new facility. That dragged its feet so long, putting A&M so far behind. Squandering the opportunity of the past couple of years, especially last year. That's not something you'd see any one of these programs I mentioned ever do. I mean, what A&M did 2 years ago was historic. There's a financial commitment that has to be more than just, we built your facility. Are you happy now? There's a financial commitment that has to be more than, here's your coaching staff salary, the NIL part of it. And at A&M, there's a total commitment to being in the SEC, but it's only for certain sports at a certain level. You'd never see what happens. Well, A&M doesn't have a softball billionaire like Tech. See, the Tech being there doesn't bother me because I understand what they did. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I have no problem with it, matter of fact. But again, when I see a Mississippi State who went there unranked, just unranked. And again, I've never understood that how in Arkansas and Tennessee, and even Texas, they just said, we've decided we want to be good in softball. And they're the defending national champs. And this is their 3rd straight. And A&M can't advance out of a regional at home. It frustrates me as a fan. I have the right to be frustrated as a fan, do I not? So, and again, and Can't advance out of your own regional, and Texas is 3 straight. Chalking up regular season wins, but postseason disasters. And yet, Tennessee, like every other year, kind of goes to the College World Series. And what are these programs doing, and why is A&M softball? And again, in the modern version of the game, too, I'm pretty sure there's an NIL issue, it appears. So they can't go get the pitchers they might want, but there's more problems than that. Yeah, and watching Arkansas, first time ever in program history, but they knew they had the coach, and then they built her the facilities, and now she's paid off on the investment in her. They knew they had the coach with her. They just went all in when they realized, okay, this is the one. So watching, and again, it started, and then all week the news weighing in, and it's like, how did so many programs accelerate past A&M? Very frustrating as a fan. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile and Loop Express inbox. Questions, comments, opinions, thoughts that you may or may not have. We're going to have fresh info coming in from A&M, and we're going to have an Aggie baseball listening to Michael Early and the contingent they put out there. The College Station Regional Media Day is currently in progress. And again, the news, maybe the top news so far, at least for my taste, the USC head coach has already announced that he's throwing his number 2, which is an ace himself, against Texas State. And they're saving the Big Ten pitcher of the year for the winner of the A&M Lamar game. They're going to be throwing. Yep. That'll be whoever wins A&M Lamar will get the true ace of the whole regional. Will be throwing on Saturday for USC. That's going to be, man, how did this regional pull TV, the 8 o'clock time slot for the winners all the way through? Because after Friday's matchups, the winners all play at 8 o'clock Saturday, 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Not necessarily for the fans, the greatest of time slots. But who was that? Oh, Tony Catalina and I were talking yesterday. When it comes to Aggie baseball, and I meant this when I said it yesterday, some of the greatest Aggie athletic crowds of all time are Aggie baseball crowds. We know that Aggie football, when it comes together, nothing beats like 100,000 plus all in sync, but Aggie baseball crowds, I get goosebumps at some of the moments with Aggie baseball. An Aggie baseball crowd, Bluebell Olsen, now Olsen Field, even without needing the magic, is as good as it gets for me at many times. I can't tell you the number of when I was working, when I was a fan, the joy of literally living sometimes when there used to be 6-team regionals and 8-team regionals, and loving every minute of it. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. It is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, Thursday here on The Zone.
You can hear Aggie Baseball online at RadioAggieland.com. RadioAggieland.com.
We're staying maroon and white. Our entire first hour will live in the maroon and white universe. Yesterday, what's the food phrase? The amused bush? Like the food, it's an appetizer for your appetizer. We got the early September kick times for the first 3 games of the season. We know that A&M and Texas are 6:30 on Black Friday. Oh, Aggie football, A&M Texas football. Is this the year the Aggies can beat the Longhorns? Dream. But the first 3 games, which is like Missouri State, Arizona State, and then SEC play begins week 3 against all new, brand new Kentucky, new head coach, new philosophy. Let's go. That kind of Kentucky, right? Our kickoff times, I'm sure you've seen this by now, but still, the Missouri State game, the opening of the 2026 season. I believe Missouri State is some kind of bear because their logo looks like a bear. He's either a bear or a transformer. Maybe he's a bear transformer. But Missouri State, 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock on that Saturday night. And it's on ESPN. I'm fascinated that, seriously, ESPN, the best game they can grab on the opening weekend. And, this isn't the Deuce. This isn't SEC Network at night. It's not the Ocho. It's not ESPN News, not ESPN Plus, but A&M and Missouri State is the best they can get for the prime time at night time slot at 6. Am I arguing? No. Kyle Field at night is my favorite version of Kyle Field. And in the fall, before there's daylight savings time, where you get the first half in the light and the second half is at night, Kyle Field at night is my favorite version of Kyle Field. I feel like the field itself is framed in light, and then you got the dark overhead making everything extra intense. I feel like it makes the sound louder. So I love 6. I know other people, it's too late in the day. Oh no, I have to tailgate too long. Oh no, I have to hang out with my friends all day. Sorry, Lou don't buy. I love 6 o'clock kickoffs. Now, I'm in the media. I am media. I'm not a journalist, never claimed to be. I'm an opinionist. I know my actual journalist friends are like, man, it's 6. Game ends at like 10:50. Then we have to, coaches, interviews, and like filing story. It's true. No, it's true. I get there and the working side of it. But for me, oh man, get to watch those 11 o'clock games. You're tailgating with friends, grill all day. I love 6. But how does ESPN, I don't know these things are facts, but if I'm speculating, guesscalating, you get 6 o'clock Missouri State because, well, ESPN, ABC, the Disney family, took A&M's premier non-con, which is ASU, Sun Devils. I always like the pitchfork. I like their colors. I've been at Arizona State quite a few times, softball travels, played tournaments that they hosted, stuff like that. Big fan. I have a bobblehead doll of the masked Sun Devil. Well, he's always masked. There's no unmasked Sun Devil, but still in my office even. Anyway, it's 11 a.m. There's nothing I can say that I probably haven't said a million times before, but 11 a.m. is the death kickoff. It's to take a home game and have it at 11 is awful. It's a crowd killer. I think it affects the players. I think there's not one positive thing to be said about 11. No, that's a lie. A&M football players in the past have said that 7 is good because they don't have to sit around all day. 11 is good. They can wake up. It's a tighter schedule. They didn't necessarily say it's their favorite or it's great, but they've said 11 has that timeline effect. Okay. All right, fine. Sure. But you can't tell me 11 doesn't affect the crowd, whether in intensity or how many times have you seen a Texas A&M team at 11 look like they didn't know kickoff was at 11? I think 11 hurts the home team, not the road team. So I don't like 11. And A&M Arizona State, it's on the network, baby, ABC at 11. ESPN, ABC, Disney values 11 o'clock. It's part of their wars with Fox because Fox puts like their best game of the day basically at 11, the big noon kickoff. And that's how they got back into the college football game. ESPN responded late. They didn't care about it for the longest time. So they, for a while now, have put a real game at 11 counter programming. And I don't know, it's really hard at times, but maybe the third best game of the day, which in the SEC is usually a really good game. A&M Arizona State is a really good game. So they picked A&M Arizona State. That's going to be at 11 o'clock on the 12th. And it takes A&M, one of their best, especially early, their primetime non-con, and it's 11, crowd killer. So be it. No reason to rail against it, but not a fan. Who is? And the final game we got announced, A&M will open SEC play with Kentucky, Game 3, September 19th. And it got a 2:30 slot, and it's going to be on ESPN or ESPN2. And I just know that I'm like itchy and scratchy and aching kind of because what? Look, I want Aggie football season to begin. And the number one reason is I want to know A&M football's turned the corner. Elko's done it. I believe I've said all along that when Elko turns the corner, Aggie football will stay turned because he's built something. The no shortcut elevator to the top. Everything he's done is a thinking, strategical, intentional, methodical process for him. And when A&M turns the corner, I kind of think they'll be a 10-win team for a long time to come. Are they going to make the college football playoff every year? If they expand to 24, I actually think the answer is yes. I've thought about it in this whole expansion talk. If they go to 24, I really think Aggie football will be a college football playoff team till Elko gets tired and leaves. I say retires. I'm not saying he's going to go somewhere else, but yes, in a 24 team every year, if we stick to the 12, 3 out of 4 minimum, seriously, maybe 3 out of 4 years minimum, Elko is building. That's what I want to see this year. I want to see the permanent paradigm program shift because that's what he's doing. Would this year be a year too early? No, I don't want it to be because that just seems to be the A&M motto of next year. Well, I want this year to be this year. I'm tired of next year's. And with Elko, this could be it. So that's my want. I want to go. I mean, and who doesn't want to go back to the college football playoff? But I think it means more than just, they went to the college football playoff. I think there's more at stake than just a 1-year moment if they do it again under Elko. Because with every other coach, it was a 1-year moment. Well, last year was the 1-year moment. Do it again, and I just think there's higher stakes. There's more at play here. That's how I feel. That's why I'm so fired up for this season. And it would be the second straight year with all the question marks and disadvantages to go to the college football playoff. That's all I need to know. That's enough evidence for me that the program has permanently shifted. So, yeah. That's my mindset. That's where I'm at. 979-693-1150. And there's so much going on. Aggie Football 2026, College Station Regional, tomorrow, Friday, softball. And when you text till 1 o'clock, you get registered. And register for what? Well, the ticket booth is open thanks to Dixie Tower Company. I got a $50 gift card to Rudy's Barbecue. And I'm just blind drawing at 1 o'clock. Let's take a time out, come back, and I do want to hit up some of the early text messages. The Louis Bellina Show, Thursday, now on The Zone.
Unsportsmanlike. Listen in weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
J84, and I got to know if this is true. I'm not saying he's lying, but I don't watch the secondary ticket market. J84 said, my ticket's worth $1,000 each per game for the weekend for baseball crazy, gonna be fun. Is that right? Is anyone else looked at the Aggie Baseball College Station Regional secondary market? Can you get $1,000 per ticket for the weekend? Holy cow. Sorry, that's just, that would be pretty insane. Peruna and College Station, what would you take as a successful tournament outcome? Anything short of advancing is failure. Does that answer? I think I'm being pretty, clear. If you host and you 8th most talented MLB draft picks and you don't advance from your own regional, you failed. I don't think there's a consolation prize of they lose, USC advances, and you go, well, it was a successful tournament. I mean, no. Well, they forced the what if game. They, on the regional final. It was such a noble effort. It don't work like that. If you host, you advance. If you host and you don't advance, you failed. It wasn't. I'm not a big attaboy in sports. You win or you lose. You're hosting. You advance. If you don't advance, you failed. Well, they were really good 2 seed. Yeah, but you're the 1 seed. Like, I like to strip away as many excuses as you can. If anyone else believes that the tournament can be a success without advancing, and you wish to text me the whys, I'll listen. I'll try to have an open mind. If you can text me how it'll be a successful tournament without advancing, I'm open to this, but I have no clue how that would work personally for me. They got to advance. And then once they advance, the season is officially a success. Because there's no universe that you have to win a super for the season. No. That's not realistic. That's just based on someone's individual expectation, individual projection. Because if you go back to where they started at the year, no, there's nothing that says they had to be in Omaha for the year to be a success. That was not realistic. But they're hosting a regional, you have to win. If they were a 2 seed, we could have different conversations. So that's how I see it. Daniel texted and said, not a fan of 11 a.m. football games either. Can't wait for the baseball regional to start tomorrow. Yeah, 11 a.m. football, I think, gives an advantage to the road team. I think it hurts your crowd, and I've seen too many teams no show 11. So that's another one of those. I have trouble thinking of anything good for 11 a.m. My favorite is 6. So that's from the infamous. Yeah, no, and again, they're going to play. We're all going to be all in, and we're going to have a great time, and the games are fun. The ones that are death is like A&M's going to play Citadel. That's somewhere in October. Those are the hard 11 o'clock games. I don't think Arizona State's going to be that hard to you. But when you play Citadel at 11, that's brutal. David in College Station sent the message, God bless the Aggies, America, and barbecue. Yeah, I have no trouble with any of those 3. I'm on board with all 3. And then Randy in College Station, I'm guessing soccer, the big track meet, and the regional games will all be sold out this weekend. Can't do it all, but our family is going to see international soccer game at Caulfield. So, Randy in College Station. Yeah, it's hard to do it all, but here's something I appreciate and will never take for granted. We live in a town, and I believe that Bryan College Station / the Brazos Valley is very much a pro sports town and environment, and we get to have that dilemma. Oh man, there's too many sports. What do I do? And it is good to be a sports person, sports fan / fanatic in BCS, the Brazos Valley. How many times have you found yourself going, I can't do it all? What a great problem to have. And we're living in a time in which A&M Athletics is actively bringing in events for us. And this will be the second soccer exhibition, banana ball, and things like that. Oh, I got to get out of here. Cedric Golden joins us live from Destin. The SEC meeting's next. It's the Louis Bellina Show.
Evan Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
You can say that there aren't 68 teams that can win the national championship in college basketball. It doesn't stop March Madness from being fun. So I think that there's an argument to be made that expanding the playoffs is going to be a little more entertaining. But I think it also creates a lot of runway for these teams to prepare to do what it takes in order to develop players so they can be at their best once we get to playoff-style football.
Unsportsmanlike. Listen in weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.